Hello everyone and welcome Legionnaires back to Legions of Miniatures, and today we'll be starting our Crusade series. The battle is on. This sector of space is coming under, well, a battle, shall we say. A battle between forces of the Necrons, forces of the Adeptus Mechanicus, forces of the Imperium, and forces of an Orc Warg. Together, these foes and unlikely enemies shall attempt to claim this region of presently undefined space as their own. And kicking it off is an assassination attempt. Today, my Necrons of the Maxura dynasty shall battle... Well, Matt, why don't you introduce your forces?
Hello. Yes, you'll be fighting the 403rd Armoured Infantry from the Armageddon Steel Legion.
Fantastic. You don't have much on the table today, Matt.
Oh, that's because I'm all in transports, as is a true Steel Legionnaire's way.
Why don't you tell us what you brought?
So, for a start, as my HQ, I'll just pull him off his transport, is Johann Roth, a company commander with the ex-gang leader warlord trait allowed by Armageddon, and the Sword of Conquest, which is a standard Imperial Guard relic. He is accompanied by Red Squad, who is in a Chimera. He's also got a backup of a Wyvern with its quad Storm Shard mortars. As tech support, he has AR-1111, a tech priest of Mars, and he is accompanied by Green Squad in their Chimera as well.
Okay, fantastic. So we're looking at 2 infantry squads, 2 chimeras, a mortary, wyverny, tanky thingy, a toaster boy, and Johann Roth.
Yes.
Well, up against him today is perhaps the archetypal foe of 9th edition so far, the Necrons. I am playing the Maxura dynasty, as I mentioned before. Crunch-wise, this is the Nihilak dynasty with the aggressively territorial trait, which gives them reroll 1s to hit if they stay stationary. And you'll see a lot of that over the coming games. But today, the Overlord, Djoratek, or Nemessor Djoratek, has dispatched one of his loyal Varguards, Varguard Rohan, a royal warden, to execute his will and cut the head of the Imperial forces before any of the real, war of attrition. Language is not my friend today. Before the war of attrition can even begin. And now we both know that both of Imperials and, Imperial Guard or Astra Militarum and Necrons are very good at wars of attrition, so it is better that we end this before it begins, I think. We are playing the combat patrol mission for Crusade, Assassinate. This has had some interesting rules, effectively. Matt has had to deploy his warlord in this circle here, in the very middle of his deployment zone. There are no objectives on this map. I say objectives. There are objectives, just no markers for them. I, as the attacker, will get to choose who goes first. And beyond this, Matt has got a additional power for his warlord. Every time he takes damage, he'll get to ignore that damage on a 6. Feel no pain. Furthermore, at the start of each of his turns, he'll heal a wound. Now, I don't like it that effectively my foe has got my ability of living metal. However, I imagine how fun it would have been for my Necrons to have that ability and be healing 2 wounds at the start of each turn. Joyous indeed. I, as the attacker, will choose who's going to have first turn, and the victory conditions are thus. If I cause a wound to the Imperial Warlord, at the end of the round, I gain 1 victory point. That's not per wound. Sorry, 10 victory points. That's not 10 victory points per wound. That's just if wounds are caused, 10 victory points. If, by the end of the game, the Imperial Warlord is destroyed, I will gain 40 victory points. Now, for Matt, he has some, shall we say, more exciting targets, objectives, that's the word I'm looking for. He has no meek prey. If his warlord kills a model, 10 victory points. If his warlord is still alive at the end of the game, 50 victory points. So, there is still an opportunity to drag out a draw. However, so long as the warlord survives, it's going to be very difficult for me to come into a victory. Well, it would be impossible for me to come into a victory, even if the enemy warlord doesn't kill anything. We can at best make a draw. Now, in the Crusade system, we have agendas. Depending on the size of the battle, we get to choose a different number of agendas. Today I have chosen the agenda priority target. Any time I destroy a vehicle or a monster unit, I make a tally next to that on that unit card for the appropriate agenda. At the end of the battle, that unit gains 2 experience points for every mark on the tally. Now, with Matt having 3 transports, this is going to open up a potential for 6 additional victory points. Experience points, rather. Now, what these mean, we will go into in a video tomorrow, where I will use my army's points from this battle to guide you through what to do once your army has successfully completed a mission in Crusade, and then rank them up. Matt, what is your agenda?
My agenda is Kingslayer. I must kill your warlord, and any unit that does so, I believe, gains 3 experience. I'm just double checking that.
Yes, that is correct. And then, furthermore, if my warlord is resurrected, you can't score it multiple times. It's just the final unit to have put down my warlord that gets the agenda.
Yes.
This doesn't require that my warlord be destroyed by the end of it. So if I do bring my warlord back, and you don't kill him by the end of the battle after that, you'll still score points for it, just on the unit that it originally killed him. So, I am the attacker, and thus I dictate the flow of combat in this mission, and choose who goes first. I see no reason to let the Imperials get an unnecessary bombardment onto me before I can close the gap. And so, I shall go ahead and take first turn. Does that sound alright to you, Matt?
I don't have a choice, do I?
Of course not. Good luck, my friend.
And good luck to you.
And so, with my movement phase, my Scorpic destroyers have advanced. They've managed to move a total of 10 inches. It's rolling 2 on the advance, bringing them close up into the middle of the battlefield and perhaps slightly exposed, but we'll see if we can do anything decent with that. My Necron warriors with their Gauss Reapers have moved forwards, but they didn't advance. I perhaps should have advanced them because they are completely out of range with their weapons. What is he called? Royal Warden moved up alongside my Necron warriors, and my Doomsday Ark has remained stationary. Now, I didn't actually run over what's in my list, but now you've heard it. We have no Warlord trait in this list, and we have no Relic in this list, as I did not bring the Overlord who holds both. After this game, perhaps one of my other heroes will have a nice little upgrade like that. But anyway, let us dive straight through into Necron's shooting phase. Well, it is not a good shooting phase, let me tell you that, ladies and gentlemen. You might be able to see that my command points have gone down. I spent a command point reroll on the number of shots from my Doomsday Ark, dropping it from 3 to 1, and then failing to wound.
I, for one, am quite thankful for that.
You would be, Imperial scum. Now, Rohan, the Varguard, also attempted to fire 2 shots at a stationary Chimera and missed. This is a good start. My charge phase cannot even begin, and therefore I have no fight phase, and with the shockingly large number of units I was able to destroy this turn, the morale phase is a doddle. So, let us head into Imperial Guard, Astra Militarum. What is it, 104th Steel Legion?
403rd.
403rd, it's all numbers to me. 403rd Mechanized Steel Legion. We'll go into Matt's turn. With that, the Imperial Guard movement phase is completed, and it has been more successful than the entirety of the Necron turn. Matt, what you done?
So, for a starter, I moved AR 1 1 1 1. What? I'm going to stop doing that now. I've moved my Tech Priest's Chimera up into the center of the board, and I've moved Johann Roth's, my company commanders, who needs to survive this battle if I am to succeed. I have moved him away into the corner of the board, out of the line of sight of the Doomsday Ark. Then finally, I moved my Wyvern into position into which it will be able to shoot into the Necron warriors and, hopefully, remove them from the game.
Well, I hope not.
Tough.
Fair do. With that, we will dive now into the Imperial shooting phase. And fingers crossed, it's as uneventful as mine.
Oh no, it's not going to be.
We can hope. Unfortunately, unfortunately, refortunately, poor fortunately for me, the Imperial shooting phase has been much more effective than the Necron shooting phase. Matt, talk us through it.
So, for a start, we had the Wyvern opening us up, and it got 20 shots, of which only about 9 hit and 3 wounded, but 3 killed enemies. But that was good enough to open up. Next, I opened fire with my Chimera here at everything was at these Scorpec destroyers. They were at a 22-inch range, allowing the lasgun arrays on the back to open fire, and both the multi-laser and the lasguns arrays did a wound apiece. This Chimera here fired its lasguns arrays into the Scorpec destroyers as well, which then proceeded to do absolutely nothing with the boosted shots due to being rapid fire, and its multi-laser fired into the warriors, killing 2 more. Overall, I'd call this a great success so far.
And I assume that you have no charges to declare.
No, because I'm not charging you Scorpec destroyers.
Very good.
It'll be suicide.
And so, at the end of, I should say turn 1, it currently says turn 0 on the turn tracker. At the end of turn 1, neither side has scored any victory points.
So far.
Well, this is at the end of turn 1. Indeed, so far, with no more of turn 1 left to go, well, I suppose we have your morale phase to go. And so let us go ahead and roll before we progress. Just 1 dice for my Necron warriors, and on a 6, 1 shall flee.
It's not how it works.
It's going to be fine.
No, is it? It's going to be fine, but that's not how a morale works in 6.
Well, yes, but then, well, the morale bit works like that. The combat attrition works differently.
Very true.
Very true. So, without further ado, let us hop into Necrons turn 2. And with that Necrons turn 2, command, pre-command, and movement phase has been completed. Only 1 Necron warrior reanimated despite a reroll, so on 6 dice. That's not quite what I was hoping for.
Well, I was, though.
Well, I'm sure you were hoping for that. Thereafter, I gained a command point. Hurrah. And from there, the warriors moved forwards, putting all bar 2 of them in range of the central Chimera. The Royal Warden moved forwards as well. The Doomsday Ark remained stationary for its higher gun profile, and my Scorpec destroyers have moved forwards, making use of the fact that they are, at least I believe they are, I'm now doubting, making use of the fact that they are indeed infantry, and just walking straight through the walls of the ruins and preparing for a charge against the Chimera or whatever may come out. So, Matt, shall we dive into my shooting phase?
I'd rather not, but let's go on.
Well, wish me luck.
No.
That is what a shooting phase should look like, ladies and gentlemen. The Doomsday Ark exploded the enemy Chimera, which destroyed one of the guy of the Scorpec Destroyer unit who was hanging on. So I removed the guy with the big choppy weapon as opposed to the multi-attack weapon. Let's see what it's called. Technical terms I know. I removed the guy with the Hyperphase Reap Blade. But then there was an extra mortal wound caused, which leveled another destroyer down to 2 out of 3 wounds.
That Doomsday Ark is a nasty piece of work.
It indeed is. One of the Armageddon Steel Legion were killed in their attempt to disembark through emergency. Well, it wasn't emergency disembark, that was a stratagem. But disembarking from a destroyed transport killed one of them. A wound was inflicted to the Wyvern, not that you can see the health bars on the screen, by the Gauss Flare arrays from my Doomsday Arc before the combined assault of the Gauss Reapers from the Necron Warriors and the Relic Gauss Blaster from the Royal Warden gunned down a further 5 of the infantry, leaving only 4 remaining and, crucially, hopefully, maybe, killing the Voxcaster in the unit in an attempt to make my charge with the
Scorpec destroyers?
Scorpec destroyers, thank you, a little bit easier. More difficult. One of those two.
Words really aren't your strength tonight.
It's too late in the evening, Matt. So, with that, we'll pause and resume after the charge phase. As we can see, the Scorpic Destroyers were highly successful, very keen after I said a simple prayer to Khorne. They scored an 11 on the required 9-inch charge. So they have run right in. And thanks to the fighting in 2 ranks rules, they'll still be fighting and have made a decent distance forwards. So we'll dive into the combat phase, the fight phase, where I'm certain they'll both be destroyed by the Steel Legion. Because
Obviously, yes. That's what Guard are known for, being good in combat.
Hey, don't mock those bayonets. And with that, the Necron destroyers, the Scorpec destroyers, I should say, were able to annihilate the last of that brave infantry squad. No problems whatsoever. AR-15, or 1111, depending on whether or not we're translating to binary or not, was unsuccessful in his attacks against the, Matt, as you said, he was successful in his hitting, just not his wounding, even at the expense of a command point. By the end of the battle, or the end of the fight phase, we are not in a position where any morale checks need to be made. I have yet to cause any damage to Johann Roth, and so no victory points shall be reaped here. However, 1 tally has been given to bring on the Bring It Down agenda for my Doomsday Arc, which means at the end of the battle it will be gaining at least 2 additional experience. And I look forwards to hopefully allowing this weapon of war to level up and get some nasty battle honors. But Matt, are you ready for your turn too?
Oh, yes. Hopefully it'll be surprising.
Well, no good luck to you either.
Yes, no, sure.
And got it here on my piece of paper. 403rd Armoured Infantry.
You'll get there one day.
Completed their movement phase. Matt, I see a lot more models on the table that weren't there before. Talk us through it. Also, let's get rid of these corpses. Damn corpses.
First things first, I disembarked everybody from Johann Roth's Chimera. There is a method to my madness, as you will see. And then move the Chimera around the back of the forces that had disembarked and into a position to engage those Scorpec destroyers up close and personal. To allow me to shoot at these guys, AR-15 fell back. And finally, the Wyvern didn't move. It could see what it needed to see.
Fantastic. Anything you want to say before we jump into your shooting phase again?
Nothing more than first rank fire, second rank fire. Which will become obvious in the shooting phase.
Well then, let's get our ranks firing as required. The shooting phase is over for the 403rd Armoured Infantry.
I'm going to slap you.
And so, talk us through it, Matt.
Okay, so I started out with a quite amazing amount of hits from these guardsmen, first rank firing, second rank firing. They then wounded and only got 5 wounds, which Lander then proceeded to save all of. That wasn't very fun. Next, this Chimera, which is armed with a heavy flamer as well as the multi-laser, shot in and dealt a wound. And then finally, the Wyvern opened up and managed to take out 3 Necron warriors. Overall, I'm pretty disappointed with the shooting phase.
Well, I was rather disappointed with my first shooting phase, but you've been more
Oh,
effective than that.
I'm less disappointed than you would have been. Let's put it that way.
Indeed. Have you any charges to declare?
Oh, yes. A few.
Well then, we'll be back after the charge phase, folks. The charge phase has come to a close. Matt, talk us through it.
So, I charged the Chimera, somewhat predictably. But then what some of you may have realised from my Relics and Warlord trait, but I bet my opponent did not, is that my Warlord is also very proficient in combat. So he charged. And then I thought, why not? Let's throw the Guardsmen in. They might do something.
Very well. Who are we
There we
starting with in combat?
Johann Roth.
Hold on. Let's be to it. And it was a combat phase in which we recognize that the blood of martyrs is the seed of the Imperium. Who's your martyr, Max? Max? Matt.
Yeah, I'm not Max. Johann Roth, upon his charge, rolled one twice because he's I don't know. He did not perform how I wanted him to, and therefore he has been sacrificed to the Emperor. It wasn't those Scorpec destroyers slicing him to several meaty bits that did it. It was totally sacrificed, willingly made. Okay, the Scorpec destroyers killed him.
At the cost
I then
of
proceeded
3
to take
command points.
Well, I did kill one, but then I also took a wound off one, leaving him on one wound.
And so now we've got a nice little cluster juck in this region of the battlefield, which will now bring us... Well, let's first of all just talk about victory points. At the end of the turn, I've gained 10 victory points for causing wounds to the Warlord, and at the end of the battle, because the Warlord is dead, I will gain 40 victory points. So as it stands, Necrons are on 50 victory points. The 403rd Armoured Infantry
There we go. That's managed you.
scored 10 victory points as Johann Roth was able to slay some models this turn. However, not before the cost of his life, which means that for the rest of the game, the 403rd Armoured Infantry will be unable to score further victory points. Now, we could call the game here. However, with the nature of this being the Crusade battle, any units that are wiped off of the table before the end of the game may suffer injuries or be eternally removed from our rosters based on lucks of the roll at the end of the battle. Therefore, it is crucial, perhaps, to keep this battle going all the way to the end of the 5th turn, just to see what will be lost. With that, we'll therefore head into turn 3 for the Necrons. And with that, the movement phase comes to a close for Necrons. I have left my Scorpec Destroyer in close combat. This is a very risky move, given that Matt will be able to choose which of the units will fight first in the fight phase. However, if I fall him back, Matt's going to spend some command points on cut them down, and he's got 6 guys within engagement range, so seeing as he's looking for a 6 to cause 1 mortal wound and my Scorpec Destroyer's got 1 wound remaining, it's too risky to attempt. Reanimation protocols have been terrible this game. 1 more warrior has got up, and the Scorpec Destroyers, none of them reanimate. And so, we're about to dive now into the shooting phase, where the only viable target is the Wyvern. So, we don't expect it, or I don't expect it, to live beyond the end of the turn. Let's see if I can get a further few
Your Doomsday Arc has only performed once so far, so I'm hopeful. Maybe a bit optimistically so, but I'm hopeful.
Well, command point rerolls are not useful this game, it would appear. We've not really managed to make any progress with a command point reroll, only roll the same number as before. The entire shooting phase has managed to deal a total of 5 damage to the Wyvern. I have no charges to declare, and so Matt, who are you nominating to attack first in the combat phase?
Definitely the Guardsman.
Very well.
There's no point with a Chimera.
We'll be back after the fight phase. And the end of the fight phase came briskly as... Well, Matt, talk to us about this unit of Steel Legion.
These Steel Legion definitely need more of a name than Green Squad. They have had 11 attacks, of which 8 hit, already better than the average, and then of those 8, 5 wounded, needing 5s no less. And fortuitously, the Emperor forgave me for my misplay earlier by making Lander fail just one of those 5 saves, which was necessary to kill his Scorpec Destroyers.
I'm thinking Roth's Avengers.
Something like that, yes.
Well, that brings us to the end of... I need to get better at updating this turn track. Hang on. That brings us to the end of Necrons turn 3. And brings us into the Imperials turn 3.
I can't wait.
With that, we've actually gone all the way through the command phase, movement phase, psychic phase, and shooting phase for Steel Legion, seeing as really only things happened in the movement and shooting phase. So, Matt, talk us through the movement phase first of all, and then the shooting phase.
So, first of all, I moved the Wyvern closer. It can only move 6 inches because it is now below half health. Not that you fine ladies and gentlemen at home can see that. And then I embarked the Tech Priest and the Steel Legion squad into the Chimera and ran that up away, trying to hide from the Doomsday Ark. Subsequent shooting phase, I then fired the Wyvern at its now reduced ballistic skill of 5+. And it took out 2 warriors with a rather large amount of fire for effect. Subsequent to that, I then found out I could see the Doomsday Ark, which it has now occurred to me means that it can see me. And I have done nothing to it, but hey, a shot not taken is a shot missed all the time.
And just for the folks at home, the reason that he can see it is, as you can see here, this little corner of the vehicle is on the obscuring terrain, and we can draw a line right from there to there that doesn't pass over the line of sight blocking bits of the ruin. So for those who haven't seen before, we always consider these corners here to be walls that reach several stories into the heavens and therefore are completely, we'll consider them 5 inches for the purposes of charging, but they block line of sight to anything on the ground. And so we can draw the line that passes through the ruins, but not over the wall sections. Any charges to declare?
Just one.
Do you want to go ahead and make it on stream?
I will do just that, though I don't think I really need to.
Oh, you don't even have 3D dice enabled, so there's no satisfying sounds. He's gone ahead and rolled a 7, ladies and gentlemen.
And the Wyvern is going to ram straight into the warriors.
Hurrah. We'll come back to you after the outcome of this has been determined. Come the end of the fight phase, nothing gained, nothing lost. Well, there's something gained at the very least. The warriors will now have to fall back and deny their shooting in order for the Wyvern to be hit. Shall we go ahead, Matt, into turn 4? The penultimate turn. Not often you get to use the word penultimate.
No. Stop being
I've
posh.
always wanted to find a way of talking about the penultimate pen. I guess I need
Seems like a post-apocalyptic story to me.
Yeah. An interesting one. In a world where everyone is a Bic Biro, 2 men fight for survival. Two Bics fight for survival, the last of their kinds. In Dave and the penultimate pen.
I think it needs a bit of work.
Well, I mean, it's first draft.
Oh, yeah.
Going to get on in line with M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, sure. It'll be a top seller, but then you'll have so many critics that you'll end up just hating it and never come back to movie. That's normally what happens the first time, right? I don't watch movies.
I don't know. I'll end up in the theaters instead with sob stories and all that good stuff. Anyway, enough stalling the game. Time to get down to murder. End of Necron's shooting phase has been delicious. The Doomsday Ark managed to inflict a meager 23 damage to the Chimera, causing it to explode for no effect. Both Chimeras this game have thus exploded. And I have to say, a personal joy of mine is watching things explode. I wish vehicles exploded more frequently. I wish that was a thing. But it exploded. 3 of the shock troopers, the legionnaires, I guess.
Yes,
Hello, legionnaires.
They would be deathly afraid afraid, annoyed at you for calling them shock troopers. They're nothing so
Of course.
standard and scared of
Pedestrian.
chaos as shock troopers.
Of course not. So what I meant to say was, 3 of our viewers, the Legionnaires, were murdered brutally in an exploding vehicle. Forgive.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. I'm a bit rusty playing guard, so to those 3 viewers that I may have unintentionally immolated in the fires of damnation, good luck,
Yeah.
and may the Emperor guide your soul.
You've destroyed our watch numbers by about 20%.
No, that's good. You were never gonna make it anyway, darling.
In the heart. Obviously, this controversy will ramp our numbers up through the roof, and in 2 years' time, we'll be a bunch of meth heads sobbing in a gutter, wondering how our quick can rise to fame and sharp
Excuse
fall to
me,
misery.
I will not be a meth head. I will be a crackhead.
Of course.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. The Gauss Flare arrays and my warlord, Varguard Rohan, all fired into the Wyvern, and managed to destroy it. This vehicle, however, did not explode, with Rohan getting the killing blow. This leaves my Doomsday Ark with 2 tallies on its agenda, and Rohan with 1 tally on the agenda. I'm not going to be declaring any charges, and so we go onto. I need someone to really tell me to keep on top of this damned turn order.
Keep on top of your damn turn order.
CP. I've got one job. Update and maintain the video information so that people at home know what's happening, and I can't even do it. So we'll go on into Imperial's turn 4, which will put them up at 4 command points.
Yay.
Matt, we'll let you get on with your movement phase.
Oh god.
This has brought us now to the end of the Imperial's turn. Matt, talk us through your movement and shooting and everything else.
I moved into shooting position and did nothing. Yes, I have been having a really bad turn this turn.
Well,
It's almost like being a Steel Legion player, you need vehicles. In all honesty, I did not bring the right gear to the job. That is not the gear's fault, though. That is mine.
Well, not to worry. A new turn is on the horizon. And I think we'll rattle through this really quickly. So we'll join you at the very end of the Necrons turn and then the end of Steel Legion turn. If any Steel Legion remain. No offense, Matt. It's just not looking great.
I think a Martian might.
A Martian may remain. And so I'm gonna build my turn to try to irritable you. Does that seem reasonable? It's a bit douchey, but I think it seems reasonable.
It's completely unreasonable. You're not allowed to do it, but you're going to do it anyway, so go ahead.
Eradication protocols engaged.
No.
At the end of Necron's turn 5, the last squad has been annihilated. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to gun enough down before the Doomsday Ark fired, so I wasn't able to shoot AR-15 or AR-1111 with the Doomsday Cannon. A small shame, but Matt, on film, what is your remaining character doing with his 5th turn? You go up to 5 command points?
Yes, because I'm going to need 5 for this dumb plan. So I can move up to the yellow line. Now I need reminding, can you charge after you advance?
No.
No, so I'm not going to advance. Instead, I'm just going to charge. Your
Is there not a las pistol or anything?
No, they don't have ranged weapons.
Fantastic. I'll spend my point on Overwatch. Sure.
11-inch charge.
No hits on Overwatch.
Excellent. I get like 2 attacks. It's really not worth it, but hey. Hitting on 4s because I am not using... Right, that's it. I'm done.
For those who cannot see, because Matt's 3D dice are not enabled, that was Snake Eyes. He does, however, have 5 command points.
Yes, but I can only reroll 1 of those.
That is potentially a more than 100% increase. It's a hit.
True.
But is it a wound?
Yes, because
It's
that's
a
strength
wound.
5.
What's the
At
AP?
AP -3, I think. I forget.
it-
I don't often get to fight with my tech priests when I'm playing guard. They're more often fixing my tanks. A problem I had today was my tanks just kept blowing up. It was very similar to the battle cruisers during the very famous naval battle that I've conveniently forgotten the damn name of. Hang on. While I'm looking for that, I also know.
What is the AP? That's the more important question for the
Yes, I
moment.
was trying to find the AP. I was delaying. 2.
AP -2, so we'll be looking at a
Yes.
6-up save.
Yes. Battle of Jutland. There we go.
No luck there. A Necron warrior is knocked down. I got 2 warriors who will make attacks back. This will do not very much. Looking for 3s to hit. Making 2 hits. Coming in with probably 3s to wound. Or a tech priest toughness 4.
Tech priests are toughness 4.
Well, regardless, that is a 6 and a 5 for 2 wounds. No AP.
In fact, they probably have the best save of any infantry in the card codex. And of course, he fails one. He is left on 3 wounds.
At the end of the battle, therefore,
I am in great pain.
the Necrons are victorious. Thank you to the Crusade mission. A victor bonus is gained. After the battle, the victor can select 1 unit from their army that has a Crusade card. This must be a unit that can gain battle honors. That unit gains a battle honors of my choice. Make a note on the unit's card and increase its Crusade costs, Crusade points accordingly. We will explore more of what this means in the video that I'll put together tomorrow. But right now, it's nearly 9:30 at night. Matt, good game to you, sir.
Ah, yes. Excellent game. It's a shame I lost. No, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And this was my first game of 9th for everyone's information at home. Hence why I was so bad. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
When you get to play Sebastian, it'll be some of his first games of Warhammer. So we'll see what
excellent.
you're like
I'll stand a chance then.
So we now need to determine. Well, this is the end of battle. Nature. No, we'll do this in another video. Well, for that, thank you everyone for joining us today. I've had a decent bit of fun. Have you had a decent bit of fun, Matt?
I should think so, yes. Insulting people is always fun.
I'm glad. Leave a comment if you've seen anything that we've done wrong, and if you've enjoyed this battle, please tell us so by hitting the like button or the dislike button. I care not which. But we do look forward to interacting with many more of you lovely Legionnaires in the future. Please, please, please join our Discord. Look in the doobly-doo in the description. Look down there and join our Discord, and through that we'll be able to get some of you guys on to tell us about your armies and add further to our Meet series, which is a lot of fun to put together, and judging by the views it gets, it's one of your preferred forms of entertainment. So we look forward to that in the future. Anything you want to say as a farewell, Matt?
Well, you've covered everything quite nicely, so all I'll say is it's goodbye from me.
And cheerio from me.